non-magical D&D 5e game. 20, 30, 16. That's a 23. I just kind of look at the phone, and then I unplug the phone, because I don't want the phone to ring anymore. As soon as you unplug the landline, your cell phone rings. Parkour! Just parkour! It's like Olympic level sprinting. When you're here, you're family!
Ah, punch it!
It's about 6'5". He's hot. He's hot. Roll insight for me. Oh no, you rolled really high, so I can't be an asshole either. I'm gonna need a decent stupid community.
Welcome back. This is Say a Prayer for California Till Death Do Us Party. That's the name of the show. The name of me is Abadonne Kilbride IV, and I am the DM, and sometimes I play Dinah, and all the time I play the NPCs. We are here for episode 9 after what was a very intense 3-hour episode last week. So we're going to have just a very chill downtime game, and then everyone's going to take a disco nap probably, and it's going to be good. So get some snacks, pajamas if that's an option for you, and get comfortable, because we're gonna vibe today. Who else is here with me?
Hi everybody, I am A. Jordan Lambert. You can find me on the internet at Lambertra. When I'm playing here in this party with this cool group of cats and kittens. Sorry, I just watched Joe versus Carol on fucking Peacock. So I'm back in Carol Baskin mode. When I'm here, I play Aubergine Dreams, a level 6 bard, level 1 wizard, or something like that. Okay, bye.
I am also here. Hello, my name is Mazz. My pronouns are they, them. I play Circuit Board Dello Russo, who is our level 6 hacker wizard, and you can find me on all things. All things?
All the things here, guys.
All the things. As Mazzface, and Twitter's at Real Mazzface.
And I am Morgana. I play Seraphine St. Marie, a level 6 war domain cleric. And let's throw some fucking math rocks.
Math rocks! Just before we get started, if I could, I wanted to say that I dedicate my game today to my friend Nigel, who passed away a year ago today. So that's a thing that I'm just gonna throw out there. Yeah.
He was a nice man. I can definitely attest to that. He was a very nice man.
Big same. Very, very cool person.
DK, what are we doing in the world today?
Okay. I like that this is very slowly taking on the format of a Nick Jr. show. That's the pace I'm at right now.
Look, I am jet lagged and it's snowing outside because I am not at home for our viewers who are at home or wherever the fuck you guys are. I'm on a trip right now, and so I'm 3 hours in the future for everybody else, and it's snowing, and I'm from California. I'm not built for this.
Later today, we will be in like hour 19 of Battle in the Sister Cities universe.
Oh
so
boy.
Come check that out. We're gonna finish today or I'm gonna die trying.
That happens at 8 p.m. PST.
I'm telling you, coming up from the future, it looks real bright for you, DK.
Last week, in case you missed it, we took our heroes to culminate a huge part of their journey, the thing that brought them together really in the first place, which was to break into the Bureau's private prison, lovingly and colloquially known as the Killing Jar, and to rescue the Black Mariah, Aubergine Dreams' best friend from early adolescence on, who had been missing and presumed dead for 10 years prior to this. Just before they left, they were informed that there was another person who needed rescue, a Latham Dune, who is part of a group that's known as the Beltsville 9, group of kids who were apprehended and then disappeared and have resurfaced in Bella Muerte. The party and all of their allies, including a couple of friends from Dinah's place back home, and one of Seraphine's other sisters. One of Seraphine's other sisters, because there are 7 of them, came to visit and got to find out that Seraphine's alive after a decade. So that was pretty rad. The party was successful. They got both of their targets, and thanks to a little bit of ingenuity from Dinah, they were able to cleanly make their escape without anyone in the party suffering any injuries, right?
Right? Yeah. No,
Mm-hmm.
those of us who did get injured got healed, so we're fine.
That's pretty baller. Just saying.
We did it. Bless the dice.
So we are actually going to pick up a few days after the daring and successful rescue. The streets are tense, to say the least, right now. The Bureau hasn't made any public announcements, and Millennia hasn't said anything on her show. That being said, you, as the people who did the thing, are well aware that the Bureau presence on the street has almost tripled in the last couple of days. There are far more patrols far often. You see a lot of Jem Fane. He lives at the barracks on the Bureau campus, but he moves pretty freely. So he's generally just kind of around if you need to get a hold of him. It's been an interesting few days. After the reunion with her son, who was revealed to be none other than Kid Gallows, both Mariah and Kid were in kind of a state. Kid had nosebleeds, he was super feverish, he couldn't really communicate with anyone, so he was kept in the Oleander St. Fleur mansion in a room adjacent to Mariah's, where she was recovering from 10 years of living in a prison. Gash Gallows has been sleeping over at the mansion every night because it has been discovered that Kid Gallows has horrible nightmares if Gash is not there. So he's been around quite a bit as well. And Viren Thrice has made a point of coming around only in the company of his mother, but to try and get to know the Beltsville Nine and kind of pay his penance for his part in what happened the day of the Beltsville Massacre. And for the most part, they have been at least open to listening. There's no real trend of friendship just yet, but Onassis stopped trying to hit him after the 5th time Viren said hello. So we're making progress. With that in mind, is there anything that anyone would like to do? This is probably 3-4 days later. Everyone's had some time to recover and kind of decompress, and the big mission is done. So you have some time to, work on whatever projects you've got going on and go visit people or spend time with people. So who wants to do what?
I want to go to the kitchen and make a cup of tea. And then I want to take it to the room where Mariah is staying. And I want to give her my phone. I want to give her my sidekick. Or not my sidekick, my compact.
She, the rumor has unfortunately been confirmed. Her tongue has been more or less removed, so she's not able to communicate verbally, but Miriam Oleander is she's as clever as Semiramis St. Fleur is constantly raving about, and she's rigged up kind of almost like the thing that Stephen Hawking has, that kind of a computerized system, so that she's able to kind of text to speech. So she is able to communicate verbally, even if you don't hear her voice just yet. Dr. Oleander is working on something, hopefully, for that. You hand her the compact, and there's a short pause, and a look of confusion, and you hear, "What is this for?"
So you can talk to him. We can't go see him. We cannot leave. But you can talk to him.
Quietly to herself, and you do see very much the 19-year-old Vigil who fell in love with the idiot playing the drums next door to her apartment. She flushes a little bit, and she types in a number by memory, and you can. She doesn't try to hide the screen from you. The text that she sends is, "I'm home," and the text that she gets back is a few seconds later and 30 or 40 exclamation points. No text. And she closes the compact and kind of holds it in both hands, and then looks at you, and you hear, "How are you doing?"
I am very tired.
Time.
Yeah. We broke into a fucking prison. And survived.
16-year-old us would think you were pretty cool. I think you're pretty cool.
You're so cool.
I try. I'm not keeping this forever, just so you know.
No.
There's a soft knock on the door, and she smiles kind of knowingly, and the voice that's been speaking for her says, "You can come in, it's okay." And the handle twists, and Kid Gallows comes through the door. He is on his skates. He pretty much has taken them off only to shower and then just put them back on. He likes how fast he is. He is finally allowed back on them now that he stopped passing out and bleeding all over the place every time he sees his mom. So he kind of skates in, and instead of fully stopping himself when he gets to the bed where Mariah's been convalescing, he lets himself run kind of like hip first into the edge of the mattress and kind of just spills over onto her legs.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of like rolls over onto an elbow and smiles, and he waves at you.
Go on, buddy.
He's like, he does the Will Smith kind of at Mariah. Yeah. Is still just really, really impressed by her. He kind of just shrugs and he points at her.
Hey, I've known her longer than you've been alive, and that impressed feeling never goes away.
I looks at her for confirmation, and she winks. And the voice says, "Well, I definitely hope not. We're just getting to know each other." And he like wrestles up onto the bed. He does not put his skates on the bed because TC has trained him very, very well. So he makes sure his little feet are hanging off the edge of the bed and kind of just angles himself so that he can see both of you. You have learned over the last few days that Kid is a very tough child. There's really nothing that stresses him out, apparently. He's kind of straight vibing all the time. He decompressed just fine after the killing jar. He had just like, a couple of bruises on his face, some scuff marks, but he didn't seem particularly upset or traumatized, once he had fully come back to himself. And he's not showing any signs of like lasting trauma. He generally is just like, now my life's pretty dope right now, actually. So he looks at you, and then he looks at Mariah, and his forehead kind of wrinkles for a second, and he looks at her questioningly. He doesn't say anything, but she seems to know what he's asking, and she says, "Well, he knows I'm home. I haven't told him about you. You're a surprise." And he looks kind of bemused. "Yeah, you're the surprise. He's going to be really, really excited to meet you." And he kind of like straightens his goggles and sits up a little bit straighter, and he nods. And Mariah looks at you, and the voice that's speaking for her says, "They did a pretty good job with him. He's exactly as rad as I hoped."
You want to have something even better?
Absolutely.
Remember how we always used to go to the beach and waste hours playing chicken?
Yeah.
Guess who I taught how to play chicken?
We are going to Slaughterhouse Bay, and you are going to play chicken with my kid, and I'm going to take pictures, and it's going to be spectacular.
Oh, it is. It really is.
She thinks for a second, and the boy says, so, since everything's worked out for the better, maybe you and Winnie can agree to disagree and just let it go so our kids can hang out?
I mean, I fucking guess.
I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but, you know, you both worked with the information that you had.
Listen, I will make up with her, but I'm at least doing what I told you so.
There's nothing I can do to stop you, and if I can't stop you, then no one can. So
Goddamn right.
She's just gonna have to live with that. But I think, well, I mean, Kid and Jude already know each other. I just don't think they know that you're friends.
Oh, Jude's pretty rad.
He's got so many piercings, I'm told. I'm so proud.
He's exactly what we would have expected.
It was a long decade, but I'm glad that things still kind of worked out more or less the way that we hoped. I mean, except for Gibson and Helena, but their kid kicks ass, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know where he is, but he's been here like 24/7.
They really like each other.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I gave birth to both of them almost. It's very surreal, but most things are surreal these days.
Tell me about it.
And she kind of settles in and ruffles the back of Kid's hair. And the compact lights up at the same time that you hear a faint noise from somewhere in the mansion. And a few moments later, over the intercom system that runs through, you hear the very calm voice of Dr. Nerium Oleander say, "Vigil, darling, you have a visitor. I don't quite know how he knows where we live, but he's at our real front door, so shall I let him in? He seems quite excited to see you." And she looks down at the compact, and she's the voice answers loud enough in the intercom, and she says, "I will be right downstairs." And she jumps off the bed much faster than she should for somebody who is currently convalescing. And she looks at Kid, and the voice says, "Okay, now is all so good. Now is all so good. You can meet him now. You can meet him now. Come on, let's go." And she kind of gestures for him to get up, and he hops up off the bed and gets on his skates and kind of straightens his goggles again and straightens his little plaid shirt and his leather jacket, and he looks at her for confirmation, and they all but drag each other out of the room and down the hall to where the front atrium of the mansion is. And do you want to follow or do you want to stay?
I follow.
You, I think, more than anyone know that Lantum Allshock goes where he wants and has a way of just getting into places.
Knowing everything.
He just very quietly just sliding on in and being like, "Hey, I've been here. I've always been here. What's up?" So you are not entirely surprised to see him. You are, however, surprised to see him with wet, freshly washed hair, no clown makeup, and he's wearing clothes that fit. They look like they have been tailored and kept away for a special occasion. It's very reminiscent of his old stage outfits, but just kind of a plain black suit, black shirt, black pants. And he has his bowler hat in his hands, and he's like pacing back and forth across the atrium. And Vigil lets go of Kid and sneaks up behind him and covers his eyes, and he turns around, and the two of them kind of just stop and look at each other for a very long time. It's one of the things that you remember about their relationship is that they were always so intense about each other. This is not an uncommon sight, them kind of just gazing soulfully into each other's eyes. It is more meaningful now that neither of them communicates. I did not realize that I made an entire family of people who are mute or selectively mute. But
I definitely thought you did that on purpose. I thought that was a purposeful stroke of genius.
Nope, but here we are.
It's gonna be a great scene for you to role play.
Everything circles. Yeah, it's. Whew. Finally, he does like pick her up fully off the ground, and like. They almost topple over from just the weight of her jumping as much into him as he is pulling her. And he stumbles backwards a little bit. And finally, like, it's a full-on The Notebook thing. And they do finally trip and fall and land in, like, a heap of limbs. And she looks up and looks at Kid and kind of crooks her finger and says, so he skates over and kind of just like looks down at them quizzically. And Lantern is immediately weeping. He knows instantly who this is. There is no question, despite the fact that Kid's hair is white and his eyes are very, very blue. He knows instantly that this is his son. And he's not really sure if he's allowed to reach out to him. And so Kid kind of crouches down and reaches out and just puts like a little sticky hand on his face. And Lantum looks just overjoyed and overwhelmed. And then you hear something you have not heard in a very, very long time. He looks at Mariah and in a quiet, rusty, unused tone, he says aloud, "Did you keep the name?" And the voice that's speaking from Mariah says, "Of course I kept the name." And Kid kind of looks back and forth, and she says, "Oh, I know your name is Kid Gallows now, but we did have a name picked out for you. I guess, like, on paper, your name is Donner Taller de Olshock." And you see him kind of like mouth the word to himself and kind of like try it on. And he looks at you, Aubergine, just kind of like to see what the public opinion on that is.
Yep. Also, while we're doing news, guess who your godmother is?
And he looks at Mariah very, very intently, and the voice says, "A godmother is like an aunt, kind of." And then he tunes back into you. He is just red in the face. You can see his freckles from how just warm and overexcited he is. He doesn't look like he's sick at this point. He's just, it's his best day. It is his best day. He has a dad. He's got a godmother. He's got a brother. Everything is coming up, Kid. Before we close things out with you all and check in on some other folks, is there anything else that you would like to do, Aubergine?
I leave them to their family reunion because they do deserve time as a unit to reconnect. And I think that I walk into another room that's got a window to outside. And I just look up at the sky and I just kind of say, I did it, Drudel. Family's all here.
Strange, because the windows of the mansion are this kind of like arched windows that you would see at like the Palace of Versailles. It's a very ornate mansion. And looking out of the like floor to ceiling windows, you can see that the landscape it looks old.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there's more desert. There's, you know where you are, like in the city, but it doesn't look like the street outside. You're looking at like almost like a one-horse town outside, but there doesn't seem to be anybody outside anytime you look out any of the windows. And these windows are floor to ceiling and they don't close, but you say you did it, and there is just kind of a warm gust of a breeze that sweeps past you and kind of lifts up the ends of your hair, and then just moves quietly and dissipates.
Aubergine just stays there for a while.
Yeah, I imagine at this point all of you have rooms at the mansion, so you can just come by. So
yeah,
it's no one is going to be like surprised or alarmed to see you there. So we will check back in on you and your thoughts a little bit later. Board, what you doing?
Mostly research. He's been going over everything that he collected during the time outside and kind of looking up the very specific things that he really wanted to make sure that he followed up on. Is talk to the doc about the Oxylux. Since he got home, Circuit Board has been thinking about the facts that if something happens to the Oxylux, it could cause an earthquake because we're on the San Andreas Fault, and he's lost sleep over that.
Okay. You honestly, you probably slept over at the mansion.
I know so much.
Yeah, Semiramis and Nerium are very, very chill. They're just like very cool lesbians in their 50s. Nerium's just like a feminist librarian and a very, very foul-mouthed person for someone so clearly learned. And Semiramis is infatuated with her after 15 years of marriage, still very openly, very unrepentantly, and is very happy to have Seraphine and Antigone and Dinah around, and Sissy too. So there are just a lot of people around all the time. You do manage to catch her as she's sort of heading into her office. And she turns her chair around, and you can see as she turns it that there are no arms on the chair. The center column that supports her back is lit up in the center and shaped like a spinal column, and it just kind of gently keeps her propped up. She turns and she says, "Hello, Circuit Board. What can I do for you?"
Hi. So, I know it's been a minute since we've chatted because I've been spending so much time with Gash. I wanted to talk to you about the Oxylux.
All right. And she advances into her office, and you can see that her office, even outside of the mansion program that you've been using, was pretty low key. There were books on the shelves, but they were very boring books. In her office, inside of the mansion, it is a massive 3 or 4 story library. It just kind of goes up and up and up and up, and there are books of all sizes and colors and covers on every shelf. And it doesn't look like what you really imagine an office to look like or what you remember an office to look like. You spent a fair amount of time in Millennia's office as a child because you got in trouble fairly often. So you're pretty sure you know what an office is supposed to look like, and it's got all of the things, right? It's got a desk. You don't see any kind of computer hardware. You don't see any kind of tech at all. Big chair at the desk. Lots of very, very comfortable looking furniture and like white shag throw carpets. And all of the windows in this room on the lowest floor are stained glass. So there are just patterns of rainbows being thrown across everything and the greater portion of the room. And she kind of looks around and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not used to having guests here." Mirimus kind of just sits wherever she likes. One moment. Dear, could you bring a chair? And you don't see anything, but there is a closet door behind the desk, and the door opens and a chair slowly rolls out. The door closes and the chair makes its way over to the opposite side of the desk from where she has settled, and she looks at you and she says, "Please have a seat."
Self-moving chair, yeah, that tracks. And I kick up my hoverboard, which I never let go of. I like set it down near me most of the time, but it's usually right next to me, and I lean it against the side of the chair and I sit. Thanks for talking to me about this. I've been having a lot of nightmares about the Oxylux failing.
Well, I hear good things from both Miriam and Desta about your skill level and your ability to adapt. So it's good that a mind like that wants to get to work on the problem. What would you like to know?
So I plan on like looking into the current state of the Oxylux to see if we do have a problem, but I wanted to ask you first, what ways do you know of that are most likely for the Oxylux to break?
Predation, primarily. A few weeks ago, you ran into a few people who worked in the city. There was a girl who worked for the water department, Echo, I think her name was.
Yeah.
She worked very closely with a friend of mine who was part of a group of very well-educated, very discerning individuals who were hired to consult on the Oxylux project. We consulted and designed it. But before we did so, we did issue a master report predicting the outcomes of using such technology, predicting possible disasters, the chief of which was an earthquake.
Right, I remember you saying that.
We lie along the San Andreas, and if there were to be a tremor from, say, an explosion or some natural shifting of tectonic plates, it could trigger an 8.8 or an 8.9 on the Richter scale. It would create a feedback loop at this point of just shifting plates. Those would move and shift, and the electromagnetic field would be charged, and then we'd probably have electromagnetic radiation storms. It could all snowball very, very quickly. To my knowledge, I haven't. All of those who consulted on the master report were asked politely but firmly to leave at the end of the project and never speak of it again.
Yeah,
So I'm not as in the know as I'd like, but Semiramis does try to keep me apprised. Currently, the Oxylux is functioning at about 75% of its original capacity. The problem is the size. The technology wasn't meant to cover a city this large, not around the clock, not 24/7, and the amount of power that it uses, that it requires, that it pulls, it's a stretch. Imagine a piece of fabric that's incredibly threadbare. The more you stretch and tug and pull at it and test its boundaries, you change the warp and the weave until eventually the threadbare patch does give way and you have a proper hole in the item. It's quite similar to that. It's I'm trying to think of I know I'm a teacher, so I know that they don't teach you geography. I'm sorry. Uh,
I
what's
kind of learned how to make. Geography is when you learn how places work, right?
how things are oriented in relation to each other and to the landmass.
Yeah, I vaguely remembered some of that in regards to when they were teaching us the layout of the wakes when we were like in our second year. Um, so if the Oxylux was never meant to hold this, why are we still living under it? What was it? Was it only built for a temporary fix? Why are we still here?
Because for all his faults, the Geiger is an incredibly intelligent man, and he did something that no one else thought to do. He privatized the technology for the radon sector. So now everyone who wants to use it, everyone who wants protection from it, has to go through him and has to go through the Bureau. That's why there's the city that our young friends are from, Beltsville. That's why it's so important. They have managed to exist on their own through largely luck, mind you. The location in relation to places that were bombed and where the soil was just too irradiated to work with. They exist in such a pocket in the center of the country. Here, I'll show you. And she sweeps her hands across the broad, plain white marble desk that's the center of the room. It's a big desk. It's 10 or 12 feet long. And as she waves her hands, it's almost like when you step on the piano keys and the keys light up, but it's all like rainbow lights appear under her hands. And she lifts her hands up, and a hologram or a holographic screen raises up out of the desk. And she snaps her fingers, and a map shows up. It looks kind of similar to the one that you saw when you were in the Sequoias. There isn't as much on it, but the shapes are more or less the same. And she taps one of the states and zooms in and zooms in and zooms in and circles a location. She says, "This is Beltsville."
Do they
It's
have an Oxylux?
No, darling, they don't.
What? Okay.
Well, there were what we called flyover states, places you sort of just passed. Yes, you went through or over. You didn't. There was really nothing there. Farmland, certainly, but no great industry, no Hollywood, nothing like that. So they were largely left alone during our part of the war. Plenty of other places near-ish were bombed, but that portion of the country was relatively unscathed. And aside from that, Beltsville was independent long before the war happened. So they sort of just managed to continue on as they have. Of course, there was the tragedy 5 years ago, but aside from that, they've carried on exactly as planned.
Good for them. That's
I'm
sorry.
understandable.
I guess.
No, understandable.
I am
It's
really
very,
happy for them.
it's a very different experience from the one that you've had.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I am a teacher. I have several degrees. I'm quite qualified. If you would like to learn about the world as it is and as it was, I'd be more than happy to teach you.
I would love that. Yeah. That would be yeah. Thank you. I would love that.
If you like, since you've gotten to know some of the others, especially Moxie and Enix around here somewhere, he's always trying to find vents to hide in, so
Gingers are
God,
the coolest kids.
the Boneses are something else, certainly. But if you'd like, you could come to school. Moxie does, Enix does. We would enroll you in the normal curriculum. Granted, it is still a bureau facility, so there are things that I'm required to teach, but some of my more ambitious students do stay after class and review, let's say.
I think CB immediately catches her meaning. about review and staying late being learning the real shit. CB is very anxious at the idea of entering another school atmosphere after everything he went through. But knowing that the reward for braving something like that is more information that he never got from, like, late childhood into teenage years, he's, like, anxious about it, but knows that this is the right thing to do. And he says, I never thought I would ever get a chance to actually learn about the world that I was locked away from. Thank you. Just tell me where to be and when.
I don't agree with the curriculum that's taught, but after several lengthy conversations with Antigone and my wife, and the few of us who consulted on the report that are still in the city or still alive, we decided that it was best for us to be where we are, and for me to quietly subvert students, as I always hoped I would as a teacher. That reminds me. And she swipes the screen again, and you see a little icon of a telephone, and it looks like the one you remember having in your house, like a handset phone. And she taps it, and you see a trail of like rainbow sparkles as she draws an M on the screen. And it's picked up shortly after she does this, and you hear, I told you, look, I know the report is due. I know that it is, but I told you that there's a lot going on right now. Latham is not, oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. Will you calm her down? Okay. I will, look, you know I read the book. I will turn it in. And she says, Christ, Moxie, take a breath. I'm not calling you about your homework, although I do have a request. When you get a moment free, and if your sister is in a state that you feel comfortable leaving her. Well, you have to ask all polite like that, so I guess I'll at least consider it. What do you need? I need you to steal something for me. Would you mind? Oh, you know what? That would make me feel better. Yeah. What am I stealing? Is it like a diamond? Is it a Catwoman situation? Not quite as exciting, but high risk. Nessus, can you stay with her? Obviously, go be a thief, go be a criminal. Thank you. I can. What do I need to get? Darling, I need you to break into Upper Faraday for me and a few boys' uniforms. It appears that our friend Circuit Board will be joining you this coming semester, and he's going to need something to wear. All right. Yeah. I mean, I get to steal, so I'm happy either way, but pretty cool guy. I guess I could. Yeah, let me say bye to her, and then I'll go pick him up.
I wear a medium.
Medium. Okay. This is gonna sound like a weird personal question, but I promise it's relevant. Do you prefer shorts or pants?
Pants, please.
All right. Totally understand. Okay. Yeah, Doc. I'll text you when do you want me to text you when I get in or when I get out? I mean, I can do either. And Dr. Oleander, who is grinning from ear to ear, says, you do whatever is going to make you the most happy in your spirit, Moxie. I have nothing but faith in you, and I anxiously await your return. Alrighty, Doc. I'll let you know when I'm back. And the line goes dead. And she kind of smiles at you through the hologram screen, and she says, see? That easy.
My only concern is I don't have a chip anymore.
She reaches a palm out through the screen, and it kind of just dissipates just where her hand is, and holds her hand out for your robot hand.
I just take the whole thing off and just hand it to her.
She kind of weighs it in her hands, and you see mannerisms in her that remind you, that are really an exact echo of Merriam-Webster's kind of mannerisms. She kind of weighs it in her hands and rotates it back and forth and gets a feel for the weight. Holds it up very, very close and examines it. She says, "This really is beautiful work. You are quite advanced for your age."
I get that a lot. I work really
I
hard.
imagine. You know, there was a time when a boy your age could enroll in a competition with something like this, and you won a prize. And I guess glory was really the thing, but you got to meet other people who built things, and there were people who made robots that fought. I'll see what I can find in my archives for you.
I mean, that's cool.
Miss thinks I'm an enormous nerd, and she's correct. I love learning, and
Same.
I love helping other people to learn. So I hope that you will enjoy getting to come to school. I know the reformatory is an experience. There's a reason I don't teach there.
I'm mostly just, I don't... Look, I just broke people out of prison. I don't want them to find me again.
I may be a librarian, darling, but I am also a bit of a Jill of all trades. I can keep you safe. At the very least, I can keep you concealed. And as for this beautiful hand, Semiramis has one not unlike it. Well, she's got a leg like it. It's a very long story. Hers does some interesting things, quite like yours. She doesn't have a chip either. She refused it.
Badass.
Stupid. My wife is an idiot. It was a terrible move. And she's lucky that Antigone was there to shield her. But it all worked out for the best, and she uses different things to conduct any kind of augmentation that she's operating with. So I don't see any reason that I can't make a machine think you have a chip. All I would need to do is insert a link in one of the fingers, like a ring almost.
I never considered that.
They wouldn't be able to detect that the ring is anything different than part of your hand, but it would read as a beacon chip.
But that's genius. I never would have thought of that. My only concern is, who would it read as? Like, we'd have to build a whole identity. I could build a new person. That's so cool.
Ah, yes.
Rad. Oh,
I told you aren't my only student. You've met the Bombshells.
Yeah.
Sunday's daughter, Adrena Lane, she also comes to my school, and they have no idea she lives outside of the city. And of course, there's Steinem, who works in much the same way that Moxie does, even though she's actually a teenager still.
You are the coolest person. I'm very grateful to have met you. Thank you for becoming my teacher. I have to teach my arm how to look like a human arm now.
That to me before. I don't think anyone's ever called me cool before. It's quite nice. Thank you. Don't worry about your hand. I don't want you to be without it, so give me a few days to work on some things here in my workspace. But I should be able to camouflage your hand just fine.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome.
Awesome.
I have a meetup with Gash. I'm going to ask him to teach me to play guitar. Thank you for talking to me, and I will let you know what I find out about the current state of the Oxylux, if anything.
Darling, go. Off you go. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. And he skates out of the room.
The door closes behind you, and she did not move to follow you when you left. Seraphine, it's been a wild week for you. Sissy knows you're alive. You have an aunt. You have not one but two cousins. How are you taking all of this family that is abruptly appearing in the city?
No, it's nice, but it's also a lot. And I do think it's time to go home, but I don't think I want to just show up. So I think my time after the jailbreak is spent summoning up the courage to call home, because I haven't talked to anybody other than my sisters, my cousins, and my aunt in a super long time. So yeah, it's mostly just me hanging out with Abe, trying to work up the courage to call home. Like I know my mom will answer, but it's just the reaction.
So, do you think you work up the courage to call home?
After Abe makes fun of me and gives me a hard time for not wanting to call home, and as a matter of pride, I'm like, I'll just.
The third time that you dial, fully let the phone begin to ring and then hang up, he takes the phone out of your hand. Stop it. Stop this. Sarah.
What if they don't want to talk? What if they don't want to talk to me, Abernathy?
No goddamn well. That's absolutely not true. So
my mom is gonna yell.
Of course she's gonna yell.
She's gonna yell.
Itzy still yells at me, and I didn't get a helicopter for my fucking birthday.
My mom is gonna yell. Abernathy.
Yeah, but then she's gonna be so excited. Plus, I want to talk to your mom.
But she's gonna yell.
Maybe maybe it's like when we were kids and she'll yell less because I'm around.
That never saved me before. I still got my ass whooped.
I mean, you didn't run fast enough. I don't.
Why are you victim blaming me?
I'm just saying, remember that time she had to tackle Dinah? Just sometimes you gotta put some pep in your step.
Alright, I guess
Call
I'll
your fucking mother. I will be right here. Call your fucking mother.
If it gets scary, will you hang up for me?
No. No, I will not hang up on Apollonia St. Marie. Are you out of your fucking mind? Call your mom.
Alright. So I pick up the phone, take a deep breath, just look at Abernathy just really pointedly, and then I dialed my phone number. Not even knowing if it was the same number, but I dialed the phone number.
On the first ring, and the first thing that you hear is the voice of your mother, Apollonia St. Marie, exactly as it was the last time you heard her, saying, "Whoever this is, you better quit playing games on my phone."
This isn't a game, Mom.
Very, very, very long pause. You
Hello?
hear some murmuring in the background. You hear a man's voice, and you know, more than likely, it is your mom's boyfriend, Pastor Jake.
Duke Silver!
And then you hear a, "Holy shit." I mean, way, way in the background of the call. You still haven't heard your mother say anything, and then you hear, "Little girl, where the hell you been?"
I got lost on the way home.
"Don't play with me, Seraphine."
I'm out in California.
You been there this whole time?
Yeah, Abe's here too. Say hi, Abe.
St. Marie. You shut up, Abe. Did both of you forget how to use the phone?
It's a long story, Mom.
Abe kind of like pokes you and he mouths the word Antigone to you.
Oh, and I found someone else out here, Mom, that you might be interested in seeing.
Dinah's out there.
No, not Dinah. Found her already. She keeps saying we're on a vacation, and it's not a vacation. I don't know where she gets this vacation thing from, but it's not a vacation.
We've taken any time
I'm
off
not
in
on
like,
vacation all this time.
she hadn't taken any time off in like 7 years, so it might have been a vacation. But I mean, it's Dinah. I really
Vacations.
You're gonna try and convince her of something? I digress. She pauses and she says, "Well then who?" It is only because I am very, very pleased to hear your little voice again that I'm even gonna entertain this line of thought. Who did you find?
Aunt Jezebel. Who is Antigone Thrice, Mom?
You don't hear anything. You know,
Yeah. Got some cousins out here too.
to make sure that I'm clear, baby girl. Jezebel, my only sister, my older sister, Delilah St. Marie, is alive, has been alive for the last 25, nearly 30 years, and is married to the most important man in the country. And you know this how? You have cousins?
Yeah. It's a whole story. It's a whole story.
What the hell is wrong with everybody in this family?
It's a whole story, Mom. But yeah, so we did some stuff, and now it's safe for me to call and come home and stuff. So, hi. I miss you guys, and if it's okay, I would very much like to come home.
Her kind of like covered the phone, and she says she wants to know if it's okay if she comes home. There's a brief pause, and then you hear your mom holler, "Everybody get your asses downstairs. Seraphine's on the phone. No, I'm not playing with you. Get down here."
Oh, shit.
And you, from the background, you hear the usual stampede of everybody who is home right now running down the stairs, shoving and like knocking each other down. People have gotten seriously injured in the rush to get down to the breakfast table. And the first voice that you hear is the voice of one of the older St. Marie sisters, sister number 2, Saphira, who is by far the only sane one in your family. That's not true. She's the only rational one in your family. She was a lawyer before the war, and after some conversations with Dinah, you've learned that she's basically still Dinah's lawyer and regularly gets calls from Dinah that she or someone that she knows may or may not need legal counsel. And you hear, "Holy shit, I don't have to be the oldest sister anymore."
Nope. I'm back.
What the fuck? Gee, when did this happen? Now, apparently. Your mom sounds, you recognize the sound of a smile in your mom's voice, and you hear the voice of Pastor Jake as he kind of gets closer to where she must be holding the phone on speakerphone, and he says,
Counting Dukes.
"It is good to hear from you, little Miss Seraphine. Now, when you come home, I'm making pancakes, same as always, same price as always."
Of course, I'm going to church.
"Good girl. It'll be good to have you home." And then you hear, "Move, move, move. I'm gay. Let me talk to my sister." It's the voice of Connie. And he says, "Hi, Bessie. Let me rap for a second. Hi, Seraphine.
Hi, Connie.
What's up? You're coming home?"
Yeah. Sounds like that's the plan now.
That's sick as hell.
Same Bessie hasn't said otherwise, so
I'm pretty sure St. Bessie is already planning a menu for when you get here. Holy shit, Mom, Bessie, we have to throw a block party. We totally have to throw a block party, right? Boy, it is not often that you have an idea that I agree with, but I'm gonna call Itzy after this. I'm gonna call Itzy after this, and we're gonna do a whole thing. It's gonna, yeah. You know what? I like that idea, Connie. I don't think you've ever said that to me before. I don't think I have either. And then you hear the voice of one of the middle sisters. She says, "Oh my God, when you get here, you have to come to my salon." It is the voice of Joni, who you remember
Joni!
You remember Joni being a little tomboy who was always dirty, looked like Pigpen all the time.
Joni!
She says, "Hi, Seraphine."
Wow. What are you doing now, Joni? Last time I saw you, you were like a little ass kid. Now you're apparently doing hair? So I hear? Drowning Dinah?
I'm doing okay, first of all, it's not my fault that she doesn't sit through the rinse well. I do a lot of things. I mean, I did my term, just like Dinah. I finished right before they did. But after that, I learned a bunch of skills in foraging and shit. The kind of shit I used to do out back behind the house when I was little, you know? Plus, Itzy started going gray and about lost her mind. So I told her that I would work on some kind of red dye for her, and she went with that for a while. She is platinum now, though, and can I just say that it looks fantastic with her skin tone? She looks absolutely radiant. Cut her real short too, just really embracing her age. It's beautiful. She comes in every week to get a touch up, so you should definitely come by and see her. Yeah, I have a salon now. My husband works next door.
Married?
I mean, technically, I'm not Joni St. Marie anymore. I'm Joni Betsalel. My husband, Butcher, owns a tattoo shop.
Man, I've missed a lot of stuff.
You get
I
to
missed
see it
a
all.
lot of stuff.
But now you get to see it all, and you can get tattooed by Butcher.
Oh yeah, of course. I need to get my hair done and actually my nails done and yeah. I'm just gonna come home, guys.
Yeah, come home. Plus, Bellsville is buck wild. There's like an elite fashion designer here. Do you remember Midori Maruyama? She made all that like really, really hot couture shit. She just fucking lives here, man.
She was still in Harlem County.
She's got a shop down the street. All
Pretty
I'm
cool.
saying is, yeah, you missed a lot, but that means you get to see a lot too. And that's not something people can say about Harlan County very often.
This is true. Well, I'm excited to see everything when I come home, and I'm super hyped for those fucking Pastor Jake pancakes, okay?
You let me know when you were coming home, and we will clear whatever we got going on.
Me and Abel will get to packing today.
You hear your mom's voice, and she says, "Oh, and Seraphine,
Yes, ma'am.
you will be picking a switch when you get here, as will your Aunt Jezebel."
No, I'm grown. No.
Grown hell.
No, I'm not coming to get whooped. No.
I brought you into this world, and I will, without hesitation, take you out.
Apollonia.
You can get
Say
some too, Abernathy. What did I do?
Told you.
I was sitting
Told
here
you.
being respectful, Mrs. St. Marie.
Told you to get you too, Abe. Told you.
I didn't get a helicopter. Now your mom's mad at me. I didn't do anything.
I'm just gonna bank on you being too excited to see me to actually hit me.
We'll see which one of us is right.
I don't know, I've known you the longest out of all 9 of us, so.
This is true. Well, everybody's here. I gotta get dinner started, so I'm gonna head out for a little bit. But you stay in touch, young lady.
I will. I'll be home in a few days.
And tell your aunt that she had better call me because I have questions.
Oh, I will.
All right. Hey, I'm glad you're back, kiddo.
Me too, Mom. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon, baby. Bye.
Bye.
You hang up the phone, and Abe is sitting there looking at you so smugly, like full on you like Krabby Patty, Squidward.
I told you you're getting your ass beat too, Abe. I told you she had some for you too.
How do I always get dragged into this bullshit with you and your mom? How am I always in trouble? I'm nothing but
Because you
respectful.
were here.
I'm more respectful to your mom than I am to Itzy.
You aided and abetted the crime. You hid me.
What
You
was
knew
it?
her and you didn't tell her.
It was you. I have like the one friend my entire life. You remember Bridge to Terabithia? It's like that, except neither of us died and just completely ruined the book for everybody.
Still getting that ass tag though.
Ranger, I can outrun Apollonia. I don't know about you,
I
though.
know. I'm gonna roll for that when it comes time.
Oh,
Make
yeah,
a note of that. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna do an athletics check when I get home. Write that down.
You're gonna do multiple athletics checks to try and get away from Apollonia.
Try to use spells.
Just for the audience, a little bit of real life St. Marie family history. My mom has slide tackled me before. I fully deserved it. I goaded her, and the way that our childhood home was set up, you could open 2 doors and just run in a circle through the house. I had a really, really, really bad sinus infection and had to take nasal spray, and I didn't like the way it felt, so I hit it and took off running. And she did catch me on one of my rotations and just take me out at the knees. It's the funniest thing that's ever happened to me. So shout out to real life Apollonia.
Who's in the?
Oh yeah, hi Mom. I forgot she was watching. Hi.
Well, she's listening, but
Yeah, I mean semantics. So you, for the very first time in a decade, got to talk to more than a handful of your siblings, and despite all of your fears of them being angry or distant, it sounds like you just saw them yesterday. They all seem very, very excited that the oldest is coming home. Is there anything that you would like to do before we take our short break?
I'm going to do an athletics check to make sure I can escape.
So just to make sure that I understand the situation, you're basically going to look at Abe and say, chase me, and see what happens?
No, I just want to make sure I'm in shape for when I go home.
Do that athletics check. Let's see how this goes.
I did my athletics check and it was a 15, so I feel pretty strong about my chances against Apollonia when I go home.
You don't know what Apollonia's bonus to athletics is. So
she's old. I don't know.
We're just gonna.
She's old. She's old. I got that on my side. She's old.
She's gonna find out you said that, and that's gonna give her this burst of speed she needs to get you.
Nah, see, she's old, and I'm old too, but I am less old than Apollonia. So my 15, that and the Lord will carry me far, far away from the aspirin that she's trying to bestow upon.
Do not let me forget, when Seraphine goes home, I'm rolling that athletics check for Apollonia, and we're gonna see who's faster.
She's about to get that black bomb speed. Life is over.
Why do you want to tempt fate like this? We are going to take our quick 10-minute break, give everybody a chance to stretch their legs, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do some fun stuff. So if you want to get snacks or do break stuff, now's the time, and we will be back shortly. We are back with the second half of our episode here. Oh, goodness. Excuse me.
Don't die.
So, no promises. So, without further ado, we are going to jump back in. Maybe 24 hours after the events from the previous half of the episode, Aubergine hanging out with her childhood best friend and her little family unit. CB getting to speak with Dr. Oleander, and Seraphine getting to speak with her family for the first time in a long time. You each, wherever you are at the moment, receive a text message. At least it starts out as a text message. That's what it looks like on your interface. When you open it, it is from Dr. Oleander and from Semiramis St. Fleur, and it is an augmented reality invitation. So when you open it, it sort of rises up out of the screen of whatever device you're using. Aubergine, it gets sent to your compact, and Mariah makes sure to kind of tug on your sleeve and make sure that you see it. The background is like a silver holographic material almost, and as you open it, you can see the script writing itself across the what would functionally be the page. And it says, "You are cordially invited to dinner at St. Fleur and Oleander Manor. This evening, 7 p.m., wear your best. With love, the Oleander St. Fleurs." In very, very neat hot pink script. What do?
Sebe is immediately panicking because he has no idea what to wear. He owns 2 shirts.
Are we all at our respective places?
Where you are right now, you can tell me where you are.
So I'm at home when it comes in. I'm just kind of looking at it, and I look at Abe, and I'm like, "Party time, Abe. Party time, Abe. You gotta get fancy, Abe." Because I know Abe hates getting fancy.
Sure. I mean, can I wear my boots?
No.
What do you? That means I have to.
You gotta wear real shoes, like a real boy.
I
No.
hate your shoes.
I know, but
they serve no
but you
function.
can't wear boots. You can't wear boots.
Fine. I'm gonna go dig through my shit in your closet and see what I can find.
And see if you can find something for CB to wear, because I'm sure he probably doesn't have anything to wear.
Honestly, Dinah's probably also there. Dinah has just taken to kind of walking in and out of your house. Not much different from when you lived in the same house as children. She just rolls up. Um, so I'm gonna say that Dinah is sitting cross-legged on the floor doing a puzzle. You don't know where she got the puzzle, and it doesn't look like she has all the pieces, but she's quite focused on it. And she says, I can take care of clothes. What time?
Okay.
Dinah also received a text message. Okay, you wanna dress?
Yeah, whatever you got. And then CB probably needs something too because he's sticky and I don't think he has anything for the kind of event that we're going to tonight, you know?
Fair. Wouldn't have anything. I am sticky and I wouldn't have anything to wear to this event if I didn't live with a literal designer. Let me call Lady. Yeah.
We pan to CB just scrambling in his room through the small pile of 3 things he has and just panicking, and then we pan back.
Dinah pulls out her sidekick and immediately begins texting who you can only presume is Lady. You were gonna say Aubergine?
Aubergine is back at the Darkly Downs and is very stressed about what to wear because she was the only one who was identified at the break-in. And so I am trying to very much keep a low profile since I don't know what the Bureau, the Bureau hasn't reacted to the break-in at all. They're not acknowledging it, but at some point they could have my ass if they wanted to. So my best would usually bring a lot of attention to me. I don't know what to wear.
So you, Seraphine, you and Abe get the news pretty early on that your outfits are taken care of, and she's gonna find some shoes for Abe that hopefully have some traction. But CB and Aubergine, you don't get that part of the message, so you do panic for approximately an hour and a half, just kind of going through your wardrobe, trying to figure out where your best even means and how to compensate for your potential newfound celebrity. And it's at the end of that hour and a half long period when Aubergine, there's a knock on the interior door at your apartment, and CB, Rivet's ears perk up and he barks and runs to where the entrance to your little hideout is.
Yeah, I just follow. Where you going, bud?
And he just takes off running, and he sniffs around like the entrance and wiggles his way out, and you can hear him dragging something, and he gets stuck trying to get back in the hole because he's trying to drag the thing with him, and you can just barely see through the hole that he is dragging a pink hologram box with a bow tied around it. It's for your reference as a human person in real life, it's about the size, it's a garment box.
I help him bring it in.
Okay. Aubergine, you hear a knock at the interior door.
I open it.
It's Lantum. He's looking much better. He has stopped wearing his clown paint. He has taken to wearing his old clothes, his clothes that fit and that make him look his best and make him look dapper. And it is very unusual for you when you open the door and he says, "Worried about what to wear?" And you can see that he is holding a pink hologram box with a bow tied around it.
I laugh and I say, "Yeah, a little bit."
Gotcha covered. We got invited too.
I just laugh and I take the box.
Seraphine, you also get a knock at your front door. About an hour and a half later.
Hello. I go to open the door.
There's nobody there, but there is a stack of pink hologram boxes with ribbons tied around them in a bow. In the distance, you hear the sound of a very, very strong engine heading away from your house.
I just yell, "Fashion show!" And I just grab the boxes and come inside, kick the door shut.
Dinah grabs her box and yells, fashion show, fashion show. And immediately runs into like the bathroom to start changing in there. And Abe just begrudgingly picks up his box and looks at it for a minute and then takes it inside and closes the door behind him and goes to get dressed like a good boy. Would you like to know what's inside your boxes?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So, Aubergine, you were worried about wearing anything that would draw undue attention to you. Of course, you want to look nice, but there is always that risk of you being noticed or of you being picked out. And you now recognize the make and model of something that was created by Lady Prescott. The line work is very similar to that in your leather jacket that she gave you earlier this week. You pull the strings on the box and pull them loose and prise the top of the box off. And inside, there is soft, blush-colored tissue paper.
Mm-hmm.
When you peel the tissue paper back, there is a gown inside. What you end up pulling out of the box is a gown. It isn't something that you would necessarily have picked for yourself, but with the concerns that you have in mind, it actually fits the bill perfectly. What it is it's an A-line gown. It's got kind of thick straps that really frame the curve of the body. It's like a papery kind of white gossamer fabric, loads and loads of fabric to the skirt, and at the very bottom of the skirt you can see a screen print of what looks like flame. It's black, like it's soot at the very bottom, and it spirals up into red and orange, and underneath that there is a long deep red velvet trench coat that's got a tulle underskirt sewn to the inside of it to cover the fancier, more distinct part of the outfit.
I smile and look at it, and there's nobody in the apartment, so I'm talking to myself and or the ghost of Drew, and I'm just like, it's not my normal style, but that'll do, babe. That'll do.
Alrighty, we're gonna go to Seraphine. We're gonna come to CB last because he's not getting a dress.
That's fair.
Oh,
I'll go ahead and spoil that for you right now. He didn't get a dress in his box.
No!
Dresses for everybody.
You get a dress and you
I
get a
said
dress.
fashion show.
Speaking of fashion show, you open your box and immediately know that Dinah had to have some kind of fucking hand in the production of this item. She gives you what looks almost like a gown that a Lord of the Rings elf would wear. It's got like the sleeves and then kind of the cape that comes around, but it's all this very thin, heavily beaded fabric, and it's got a beaded cowl. It's all silver. It looks almost like armor, and it is floor length. And there's a pair of Vans inside, but they're like glass slippers.
I'm here for it. This is cool. Big Galadriel energy.
TB, are you ready to find out what's in your box?
Yeah.
Wait, what's in the box?
What's in Abe's box?
Yeah.
Hey, we got a dress.
I got it.
You got a kilt.
Honestly, I bet Abe would look smashing in a kilt. Abe's outfit is definitely not something that he would pick for himself, but you have to admit he cuts quite a figure in it. He is wearing they're like almost metallic slacks. They're like a dark gunmetal gray with a faint metallic sheen to them. And he's got matching suspenders and that same kind of like vaguely metallic charcoal color, and he's got just like a plain white button up, but when he moves in the light, it's almost like there's a faint gold glitter to the fabric. Very, very low key, only when he's in the right light. And you can see that the back of the shirt is an outline of a spinal column in just very solid, cleanly inked black. He does get a pair of dress shoes. They're they're those Ryan Stiles shoes, so they're like the really, really big, ostentatious boat shoes. They're very, very shiny, and he looks absolutely dismayed as he is putting them on.
Please tell me they're gator skin.
No, they're almost like an Oxford, but instead of having the detailing punched in, it's just kind of stitched in, and the toes are shiny and the heels are shiny.
Abe with some Stacey Adams.
Abe he's so mad. He's so mad right now.
He looks stylish as shit. Don't be mad.
He's combed his hair and like trimmed his beard and brushed it out, and even you gotta admit, sis, he's looking pretty good. Just saying.
Yeah.
And you do watch him kind of like turn in the mirror and look. Dinah comes out, and Dinah is wearing exactly what you would expect Dinah to be wearing. She's wearing a pastel leather Lolita dress, but it's all different color blocks of pastels, and it's got a tulle skirt and a huge belt around the center. And then she's got knee-high boots that look like they have shin guards on them, almost, that are a similarly light floral pattern. They're heeled, but it's pretty standard Dinah wear. CB, you open your box, and
oh, thank God, clothes.
there is a little hollow film note inside, and you recognize Miriam's handwriting in like that big, very girly pink script, and it says, "Don't panic, everything should fit. Trust me, it'll be fine." And just like a little heart, an M.
I've met the coolest people in the last 3 weeks. This is cool. I open it.
When you open your box, at first you think you got armor. It's just a lot of like silver fabric at first. It's very hard to tell what it is initially, and you have to kind of sift through the box to get a clear picture of what you're looking at. CB, inside of your box there is a silver leather jacket that's got kind of a row of pyramid studs almost in tuxedo paneling. It's got kind of miscellaneous patches placed all over it. Not too many, but just enough to kind of pull the eye into interesting directions. There is a matching pair of silver pants with a metallic silver belt, and a pair of matching silver chucks. And I want to point out to all of you, all of this looks like it is perfectly tailored. All of it fits like a dream. Lady Prescott has never measured you. But this shit fits like a glove. It fits like it was made specifically for you. And then there is, there are two bow ties inside. One is a big one that's kind of like a matte gray that's got black splatter all over it. It's got spikes on each of the points of a bow and little chains kind of hanging between it. And then there is a miniature version for rivet.
Yes! That's where I thought this was going!
I throw it all on. I straighten my bow tie like a million times, and then I just kneel down. I'm like, buddy, we're going to a party. We gotta look our best. Straighten the little bow tie and rivet.
The animation for his eyebrows like gets very furrowed and serious, and he barks. And allows you to straighten his bow tie. Yeah. So you all have your outfits, and you are dressed and styled and ready to go, and you see each other for the first time in your fancy new outfits outside of the facade of the actual Oleander St. Fleur house.
I look past Dinah and I say, "You look good, Big Douglas."
BD.
You say you look good, Big Douglas, and Dinah does fully Will Smith the open air. And just go ahead, BD. Let them know. Do a little walk for us. Fast
Show. Walk for his BD walk.
That turn,
and so you
though.
all do watch.
Can he be wearing a mini backpack? All we see is just like a mini backpack, just like sashaying down like a makeshift runway.
Yeah, it's like a loungefly backpack.
Yes!
It's the same leopard print, like rainbow leopard print as the Lisa Frank bag that Dinah normally carries with her, but it's just very, very small and made of leather. And you see it hanging about where the mid-back would be on like Abe. And it just kind of parades in front of you. So you do watch this bag move through the open air for a good 15 or 20 seconds before it comes to a rest beside Dinah.
I stand next to
Looking
Abe.
good, Big Douglas. Looking good, man.
Golf clap, surely. I stand next to Abe because he's the only guy, and I feel like we're like, our color palettes are similar, so I'm just like, yeah, this feels right.
Abe looks over and like a little bit down you and is like, you got close too, huh?
Uh-huh.
And he looks at your
My
feet.
dog got close.
And he looks down at Riven and he says, that is the most precious fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Truly.
Very, very solemnly. And then as he's looking down, he looks at your feet and he looks at Seraphine and says, he didn't have to wear dress shoes.
I just look down at Abe's feet and I get real quiet and I point and yell, "What are those?"
Take what I think is the first inspiration point that I have ever given in your game. And that means at some point you can re-roll something. You get advantage on a roll. Or no, you can just completely re-roll, sorry. Because, well, way to bring it back around. Much appreciated. We love that. Yeah, Dinah kind of like steps back and just like whistles and just like, you all look good. Does everything fit? Everything okay? Abe, I don't want to hear from you. I'm not asking you. Seraphine, does everything fit, Abe?
Everything fits great.
Let's go drink somebody else's liquor. Let's go.
This is sick. Oh, Dinah, your jacket is so dope.
Cute. It's kind of a combination. My tailor in Kansas started it and then lady finished it.
This is the coolest. We're really cool now, aren't we? I say now. I mean, I am now. Am I
Like,
now?
super cool.
Y'all have always been cool. I'm catching up.
You broke somebody out of prison. That's like the coolest thing.
Fuck yeah. Yep. I walk next to Dinah the rest of the way inside.
She fully like loops her arm through yours and then holds an arm out for presumably Big Douglas, and the backpack does come to like move beside her. And she looks over her shoulder at the rest of you and says, "Come on, let's go get drunk." Holy shit, CB, have you ever been drunk?
No.
This is gonna be a good night. Let's go. And she kind of bodily pulls you into the house. There's a note on the door that says, "We're around back," and you know that means to just go ahead and proceed through the office. Aubergine, Seraphine, y'all want to follow?
Absolutely. I sweep an arm through Abe's arm, and then I just kind of nudge him to take Aubergine's arm.
Abe was already reaching out his free arm to Aubergine.
Yeah, I loop arms with Abe.
Come on, escort some ladies in.
He looks at you, Seraphine, and he says, "I was raised right, okay? Itzy knew what she was about."
You wanted to wear dirty boots tonight.
That's a comfort thing. That's not a manners thing.
Come on, escort some ladies in. Let's go.
I feel like we're a real
Alright,
family
ladies.
now, guys.
Right?
We're off to see the wizard.
Dinah does begin to skip at that. You hear stuff jangling around in the backpack as it bobs up and down in time with the skipping. And you head into Nerium's empty office. The lights are on, and you're able to proceed into the closet to go to your party. When you arrive, you see pretty much everybody you have met in the last 6 weeks. The bombshells are all there. Lady Prescott is there, pouring herself a glass of white wine, and she's wearing like a dress similar to Dinah's, but it's all pink leather, and it's got like black fishnet under detailing. She's also wearing those really insane ballet bondage boots. The really, really tall heels with the rounded toes. They're the same color pink, and they're all splattered with fake blood. And she looks at all of you and kind of winks and does finger guns. And then proceeds to down the entirety of her glass. There is someone with her. He looks quite similar to her, but he's got kind of a mohawk undercut. He is exquisitely dressed in a suit that looks very similar to yours, but it is sort of the same fabric as Abe's. It's a deep rainbow gunmetal. You can see as he turns to get another glass for Lady that they're similar to Abe's. There's a spinal column that's attached to the back of the shirt, but this one looks like it is hooked into the shirt itself and lights up and has like indicators on it. And you remember Jem in the little bit of downtime that you've had and when you've kind of gotten to catch up with each other on the street, telling you that he works for somebody named Thalamus, who technically works for the Bureau, but really works for the highest bidder, so they're as truly neutral as you can get. And you do know that this person is... No, actually, you don't know. You don't know who this person is. Or who they are to Lady Prescott, but you do see them together. They seem quite comfortable together. And as you are proceeding into the party, you hear them cough, and it's a really deep, bassy, wet cough. It kind of carries them forward a little bit, and Lady immediately sets her glass down and goes to pat him on the back and kind of help him stabilize himself. And he reaches into his pocket and takes something out and takes whatever it is that he took out of his pocket and then kind of wipes his mouth and nods and reaches out for her drink, which she gives him to get the taste out of his mouth. You see all of the rest of the bombshells. The Lonely Hearts are there. Drina Lane is there talking to Gash. She's brought her guitar, and they're both just kind of hanging out. Gash is wearing a suit not unlike CB's, but it's all just like a deep, deep red velvet. It's got like a white shirt underneath it with the traditional emo skinny black tie. Kid is wearing a little white suit and a yellow tie and his skates because it's a special occasion. All of your friends are there. Lantham looks up when you get there and just kind of gives you a thumbs up. Vigil is with him, and she is dressed in her typical bridal gowns that she used to wear on stage. Winnie, who is also there with young Judas and a couple of members of Boy Division, managed to find one of her old stage outfits. So it is the white gown that she wore to the party for Bunny Bishop, the one that's splattered with blood and very bridal or funereal. And she looks radiant. You would never guess that the last 10 years have happened to her. The Morticians are there, the Beltsville 9 are there, and Semiramis and Nerium finally find their way into the main atrium where everyone is kind of milling around, and there are like trays of glasses that are just kind of floating and making their way around the room, and when they're empty they kind of just float away, and everyone seems very, very comfortable with what's happening. They make their way into the main atrium with Old Hollywood from the theater, and he is also dressed in just a very nice black silk suit. Semiramis is wearing what looks like a dress made out of pure silver, like pure molten silver. Seraphine, you've never seen Semiramis in a dress before. It's got like plates that stick out like armor, but it is very much a gown, and it is very much as fancy as yours is. And of course, Nerium is there in just a very, very soft, airy, pink, like Victorian tea dress with her hair tied up in Heidi braids. And she takes a minute to kind of survey the room, and she says, "Welcome, all of you. I apologize for not telling you how many of us there were going to be, but I didn't want to ruin the surprise. We have a lot to celebrate, I think. We have regained some friends from the dead, or worse. We have reconnected with those who thought we ourselves were dead. And some of our new friends here have done the impossible, and I think that at the very least, that deserves a home-cooked meal. So, thank you all for coming. And please, eat, drink, have your fill, make yourselves comfortable. We will be taking your keys, and if Semiramis has to put you in a headlock to get them, then that's just the way it's going to be."
She'll do it, guys.
She says, "I 100% will. I have permission."
She's done it to me, guys.
You gotta work on your cardio, kiddo. And Nerium says, so if you'll follow us into the main dining hall, we can sit down to dinner. And turns and kind of sweeps her arm and begins to head forward in the direction that you know the main dining hall is.
Before we get to the main dining hall, I pass the bar and I get 2 shots of tequila. And I walk up behind Winnie Bliss and tap her on the back.
Jude's face over her shoulder as he sees you coming, and he gives you kind of a conspiratorial look and just the barest nod of his head as you walk up and kind of shifts more fully into her line of sight and kind of draws her focus so that she is fully surprised. When she was a teenager, the woman has no situational awareness and jumps about a foot in the air and very nearly knocks all of the glasses out of your hands. And she turns around, and when she kind of finishes clutching her chest and just reorienting herself to the earth, she looks at you and she looks like she wants to say something, like start something, and then she looks down at the shot glasses in your hands. If I tell you that you were right, does that mean I get to have one of those?
It means that we'll call it even, because I definitely was right.
I feel physically sick saying it, but I was wrong.
I told you so, ho. And I hand her one of the shot glasses of tequila.
She kind of smiles wryly to herself and salutes you with the glass and knocks it back clean.
I do the same.
Is there anyone wants to talk to before y'all head into dinner, or do you want to talk at dinner?
We'll talk at dinner.
Okay. You proceed into the main dining hall, which you've seen before. It's one of the rooms that is exactly half and half Semiramis's decorating taste and Nerium's decorating taste. Think the Sugar and Spice Girls from Batman Forever. Is it Batman Forever?
Yep.
Yeah, think of them. The way that whole area was just divided into black and white. It's the
Shout out
exact
to
same
Drew Barrymore.
Shout out some of my favorite villains. One half is
That
all
outfit's
black.
iconic. Sorry.
Truly, with the marabou trim, incredible, inspired. We love fashion here at Exquisite Corpse.
We really do.
We really do.
Morgana went to fashion school, so
I did go to fashion school many, many years ago.
one half is all black and gold and Baroque, and the other half is all white marble and rainbow Rococo detailing. And the table is appointed exactly the same way. On Semiramis's half of the room, there are several suits of armor. And on Nerium's side of the room, there are a bunch of reproductions of classic paintings. And she takes her seat. There is no head of the table. It is like a big oval shaped table, but nobody sits at either head of the table. Everyone is seated on either side of it. And as you all sit down and take your places, more trays come floating out of a big set of double doors that you guess now must be the kitchen. And all of the trays come and gently float their way down onto the table in front of you, and the lids are lifted off. And the first course of the meal is served, which is a salad with fresh wild greens and what tastes like a freshly made lemon dressing. I don't eat salad. I don't know salad things. Whatever salad you like, that's the salad it is. I refuse.
Eat a fucking vegetable, DK.
I will never.
What if I made a salad that you like?
No. So your salads come out and the table is laden with drinks. It's for such a fancy meal, it is very like college art students eating on the floor. Like you get the sense that for all of the fanciness of the vibe, even the fact that Antigone is there and she's exquisitely dressed in like a powder blue gown that looks strangely similar to Seraphine's. it's very casual. Like everyone is just very very happy to be there, very happy to be eating home cooked real food, very happy to be well dressed, and happy to be around all of these people after the course of the last 10 years. There's no pretense. Everything is just kind of warm and cozy, and the sound of clinking glasses and silverware on plates. And uh, is there anything that anyone would like to do? Anyone that anyone would like to talk to over dinner?
No, I'm trying to talk to this salad I'm eating.
What kind of salad is it?
It is it's a really nice like Asian inspired chicken salad with nuts and cranberries and water chestnuts and stuff. Real fancy because that's how Semiramis rolls. It's real fancy, but it's still real good. And it has like a honey sesame dressing on it.
Vibes. Anybody else? Is everybody such a goddamn fan of salad?
My salad has shrimp on it because I fucking love salad. Asian inspired shrimp salad.
All right.
CB has no idea what is happening with salad because the few times that he's eaten food on this trip, it's all been like Southern style comfort food, which he's loved. So salad.
Now there's just a plate full of leaves.
Oh,
You just SpongeBob salad.
Salad. What the hell is a salad?
What is the salad?
2 salads.
Dinah kind of leans forward past where Seraphine is and makes eye contact with you, Seraphine. She has gotten a huge wedge salad, and she looks absolutely horrified because Dinah doesn't eat salad either. You, Seraphine, and Aubergine, would you please roll a perception check for me real quick?
I'm gonna do it on my phone since I don't want it to crash again. Hold on.
Can I like look at the salad and then just grab a dinner roll while I'm looking at the salad?
What are we rolling? Perception?
Perception.
Okay.
Seraphine, roll it with advantage.
Okay.
17.
17?
Helly, can you roll for me?
I already have it pulled up.
Thanks.
I rolled it with advantage for you. On your second roll, you got a nat 20.
We'll take that then.
This makes sense because you've seen this trick before. And Aubergine, you also clock this because you had little cousins. You've seen this shit. Dinah waits until somebody is telling a joke up at the top of the table and kind of furtively looks around and fully picks up her whole wedge salad off of the plate that it's on and turns around like she's gonna like look in her purse, and the backpack is kind of hovering just barely off the ground, and she does shove it in the backpack.
No, she does not.
And she very casually looks back and straightens the collar of her jacket and just reaches out and grabs a dinner roll and rips a piece off. The top of the table was not looking, so only y'all saw that.
I look at Seraphine, like fucking put my head down.
I look at Dinah. I saw that.
You say you saw that, and Dinah looks you fully back in the eyes and says, "Nobody's ever gonna believe you," and shoves a bigger piece of the roll back in her mouth and leans back in her chair.
You're abusive.
Imaginative.
No one is ever going to believe.
Anyone else? Anyone else you want to talk to? CB, was there anything that you wanted to do?
Honestly, I think CB's first instinct is to... I would like to imagine that he sits next to Gash, but also Merriam-Webster if they're sitting near each other. But they're probably not.
Between the morticians and the party, but Miriam is there in like a very, very Romeo and Michelle pink tube top dress with like a little leather bolero over it and heels. And she, like, her hair's all done up and curled. She looks fantastic, and she does kind of like sneak over and kneel next to your chair to come say hi.
Yeah, I think I just like want to like shoot the shit with her and talk to her about how much I love the hoverboard and ask her how she's doing and Let's have some chit chat.
Was there something you wanted to do? Or were you talking shit over there?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you started to talk earlier. You said something about Dinah and then you glitched. Were you talking shit or was there something you wanted to do?
Oh yeah, I was talking shit actually. You said,
That's
"Is
what
there
I
anyone
thought.
else you?" Yeah, you said, "Is there anyone else you wanted to talk to?" And I said, "Not Dinah ever again." After that shit with the "no one will ever believe you."
I'm glad I doubled back to ask about that then. Alrighty, so you all settle in at the dinner table for what is going to be an absolutely wonderful 3-course meal with dessert provided specially for you from Monoxide Street Confectionery. Lilium Taffy arrives late with baker's boxes, some of which are still warm to disperse all of the desserts. And she's in like a full rockabilly outfit, very, very tall heels. Her hair's all done up in victory rolls. And you pass the night away in comfort and safety. There are no proximity alarms. There are no emergencies. There are no weird cryptic messages. You just have a party with all of the people that have helped you get to this point along the way. And that is where we're going to close things out today.
Woo!
That's a nice place to end.
That's so good.
Thank you all so much for joining us for episode 9, Aftermath. This is one of the most fun episodes I've ever run or been a part of. So it was a good sesh. It was a good time. I am and have been Abadonne Kilbride IV. I'm the DM here and will also be the DM here at 8 p.m. PST for Sister Cities, Till Death Do Us Party sister campaign. So I hope you will join us for that. If not, you can catch us on Twitter at ExquisiteCTTRPG for everything related to everything happening in the Say A Prayer for California universe.
I'm Jordan. You can find me at Lambertra. I play Aubergine Dreams. It's been a blast.
I'm Morgana. I play Seraphine St. Marie. You can find me on Instagram at either Decibel Nails or St. Marie, but the A's are V's, so Svint Marie. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but I think dogs should vote.
I'm Mazz. I have been your hacker wizard, CV Dello Russo. I can say my own name with
It's
my
hard
mouth
out here.
words. It's fine. You can find me on everything as Mazzface, twitch.tv/Mazzface. I stream every Monday night, and I'm also on Twitter as Real Mazzface and Instagram as Mazz. I'm on Mazzface. My name is Mazz, and this is my face. And thank you for letting me play with you guys.
Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. That's going to do it for us. We're going to go disco nap and other assorted things. Bye!